Well, hello everyone. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well today. I'm Tiffany and this is Tika's Gardens. And I am clearly not in my garden right now, but I am, in spite of my travels, still thinking about my garden and things I would love to do, my vegetable garden specifically. So I am going to head inside to my room where I am staying, and we're going to sit down and go through some design ideas that I have for my vegetable garden. So let's head inside because it's pretty noisy out here, and let's go through those designs.
So guys, take a look at this sky. I am in the wet season where I'm visiting right now, which is from May, June, and July. So it's going to storm. So we're going to head inside to my room. There is no seating in my room, so just bear with me as we go through these designs. All right, guys, so I've got my handy dandy laptop and I've got my glasses nearby in case I need them. But I made a folder on my laptop called My Veggie Dream Garden. And so I've got probably about 5 pictures here we'll go through. You know what the vegetable garden looks like right now. So I will stick a clip in for those who are not very familiar with what it looks like. But here's a picture of it. Right now, this is what it looks like at this present moment. So I took this photo and I cleaned out the vegetable garden in my program like this. So I have a full clean slate to work with. So from this clean slate, I have, let's take the first design here. And like I said, I did a few different ideas. This first design is with a small gazebo. Like I said, my neighbor who, they're older now. They've been in their home, I believe, since it was built. And they raised their children there who are now adults, which I know them and their children. And they're very nice people. I enjoy them being my neighbors. They have a pool in their backyard, and Tika has slipped into that yard a few times, and so I have to keep my eye on her to keep her from slipping over there. But you can see in this design, I still have my white raised beds, but instead of them going towards the center of the vegetable garden in rows, I turn them so that they go parallel to the fencing along that entire area. I've also changed the color of the fencing to black, which is my ultimate goal. We have to replace our fencing. There's so much that we need to do. It's like, oh my gosh. And I just see cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching every time I think about all the things that need to be done to the house, to the yard, to the fencing to make it ours. And because the house is older and the person who lived in it before was a single mom who was a nurse, and she sold her house because she wanted to move closer to her sons and their families, which are in Colorado now. So, being single, working a lot, she just wasn't able to maintain the yard and the house, like anybody would like to. So, those are things we inherited, and we're fine with that because we really like the house and I can see the potential of it. Things that we would like to do in the future, other things I'll share with you, when those times come. But right now, we're talking about the vegetable garden. So what I did was move those beds from going, towards the center of the vegetable garden, made them parallel to the fencing along the whole area, which opens up the center. And this is something I always knew I could do, even when I started working on this. But I didn't think that I would be able to really get a greenhouse. But there are some smaller ones where the pricing is, pretty inexpensive, all the way down to the real small ones that you can get like at a Sam's Club or whatever when garden season comes around. So there's an opportunity for me to get something that I can work with. So, when you don't think you're going to be able to do something, you make your plans and you just work with what you have. And when you realize you might be able to actually just pull this idea off, because like I said, it's been in my head for like well over a year. When I started even designing this, it was in my head that I would love to have a greenhouse back here, or something like that. Make it like have a patio area back there where we could sit and be around the vegetables and everything. So I always knew I wanted something else back there. But not knowing that it could be achievable, I used the garden, just filling in the space as it is. And yes, hindsight is 2020. Plan for what you want, but I didn't. So it is what it is. But we have the beds turned, parallel to the fencing, leaving that center area open. So this is a small gazebo with a bistro style table that seats four in there. And I think this is gorgeous. And this is an idea that can be done. The second option, and I know this gazebo in this one is not centered. I struggled to get it centered and I gave up. So don't come for me. But imagine it being centered. Put that in your head and just fantasize that it's centered. This is a much larger gazebo, which would give me, smaller walking space around it, but it could still fit. And the furniture in it is larger, so there's more comfortable furniture. And like I said, this was just to pay homage to what was back there before. So, same layout, just a larger gazebo providing shaded seating. Then there is a small greenhouse. This area is actually a good enough size to where I could put a bigger greenhouse than this, but I just stuck a smaller one in here for right now. And, I'm still learning on this program, so centering things and all that I'm not a pro at it. So use your imagination where things are perfectly spaced and stuff. So imagine that centered. And like I said, this could be bigger than this, but I just stuck a small one in there for right now. And as you can see, I still have the same amount of planting space as before. And the beds that I have four raised 8x4 beds. And so I believe that four will pretty much do the job here. I would probably need to buy one more to fill in like the corners where you want to turn. Probably one more, two the most, but I believe one more. The pieces from that one more would be where you would be. I could fill in pieces to get it to make the curve at the back there. But nonetheless, you get the idea. The beds would flow around the outer edge, still giving me the same size beds, 8x4, all the way around, with the greenhouse in the center. So I could work out in the vegetable garden, store my plants in there, have seed trays in there, things like that. So that is that one. And then there is one more. Okay, guys, here is the last picture, and that is having a table that seats six with an umbrella back here. And in actuality, this is likely how the space is going to start out, because we have to work on the patio area. So what I'm thinking is I'll go ahead and, like I said, once this group of crops is done, go ahead and all the gravel that's been pushed up towards the fencing, we'll move it towards the center, rearrange the beds, kind of level out those areas around the fence so that they can sit, the beds can sit level and stuff, and fill that part in, and go ahead and open up the center. And we have to get that patio area worked on. So I want to go ahead and get a nice table that we can have for outside where we could sit. I think I'm going to go ahead and get the table and sit it here while the patio gets worked on. And then it could be moved closer to the house where, when you want to sit outside and have dinner or whatever, we can do that and go ahead and put the greenhouse in at that time. So I can go ahead and do this redesign, in the fall or winter, later fall, winter, once the crops are done. And, before I do my next grouping of crops in the raised beds, and already have the area laid out. And it can be utilized until we get the greenhouse. And it can be utilized with something that we really do need outside, which is a table and chairs. And as the weather is cooler at that time of year, that is when we're most likely to sit outside and have dinner and things like that anyway. So my thought process is that I will go ahead and start the area out like this, find myself a nice table and chair setting with umbrella, because, that's a full sun area. So, having the umbrella on at times when, if you want to sit out and the sun is pretty high and hot, we can do that. So it could still be utilized. And then patio gets done, move the table, we can then add in the greenhouse. So that's what my thought process is. But these are all ideas and options of what we can put in. And like I said, we're settled on the greenhouse. I showed you the others just to show you other ideas that you can do in the space, because there are going to be some of you who have a space that is kind of similar in this shape, almost a perfect square, but not quite, that you could pull this off with. And maybe you were trying, in your yard's not, that big to where you've got a bunch of different spaces and you want to kind of have a space that is multi-use. This is an option for you. So I wanted to share these designs with you because I believe they can give some of you inspiration as I'm coming up with inspiration myself. So I really love this because it is it's still giving me the same amount of vegetable gardening space that I wanted, while making the area useful with something else in it. So it's exciting to, come up with these ideas, because your garden space could really take on so many different configurations. It's just a matter of what you prefer. And sometimes when you do have a garden space, it is hard to think of how to lay it out. And so, having these, like I said, it's not just for me. I'm sharing them with you so that it can give you some ideas and inspiration for a space that you've been maybe struggling with, or trying to figure out how to make it work, make it multifunctional or whatever, or to how to squeeze a greenhouse into your space as well. So this is the way we plan on doing it. And so this is something I've been working on while I'm here, since I can't be in the garden. I've been working on some other things as well, which I'll share with you at another time. But it's, I really love these. I'm excited. So those are my ideas, guys.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed taking a peek at some of my ideas, and leave a comment below to tell me what you think about them. And I hope some of them give you inspiration as well, because some of you will have garden that are kind of that same square shape, and you're wondering what you could do, and maybe thinking of even putting a greenhouse or a table or whatever in your vegetable garden. So that hopefully gives you some ideas of how you can do it for your garden. But always remember that it is your garden, so you have to do what makes you happy and what works for you and your family. But guys, thank you for joining me today, and I will talk a little bit more about where I am in another video. But for now, have a wonderful day, get out, make a memory, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.